here we are again. This time we're learning how to make the conclusion page for our alphabet book for your state report. This is the last thing you're going to be doing, so make sure you spend the time that you need to make sure this big project of yours that is important and is going on your grade really reflects the hard work that you've put into it. So again, your A to Z book is going to look very different than mine. Remember, I just copied all of this information. So you're going to have your cover, and then you'll have A through Z, all looking different with different information, getting through Z. In fact, I think Z is for time zone, really, not for animal, obviously. But what I wanted to show you was here at the bottom, you might have a blank one. Let's pretend that you didn't have a blank one for now. If you do, great. If not, it doesn't matter. Remember, we're just going to add a new slide. So if I was looking here at the cover, I would just push the plus new slide. You're just going to call it a title slide. Sometimes that's if you click that little yellow arrow, but if I just click the plus sign, it just brings you straight to this screen. So either way, if you happen to push the down arrow, it's okay if you just click title slide. But again, if you remember, we just quickly delete those so that you're looking just at a blank canvas and you get to design this. What I want you to do is, because it is your closing page, it needs to look identical in image as your as your cover page. So you can import that exact same photo by, remember, creating the new slide, and then you can do slide change background, and you can do all of that. Or you can delete that blank one, and you could just copy this page. You can duplicate this particular slide. So that's what I would like to do. So I right click on it, or on my computer I push Control click. However you need to right click on it, you'll come down here to duplicate slide. When you duplicate the slide, it is identical. There's the first one, there's the second one. Do we want the conclusion page in spot number 2? The answer is no. So I'm going to drag it down, scroll down, drag it down. I want it at the very end after the letter Z. Drag it down, drag it down. Here we go. It's going to be in this spot down at the very bottom. So here's X, Y, Z. And here it is. So this is, if you were to just quickly scroll, you'll see identical at the top and at the bottom over here. This is what you are going to do when you get to this point. You do not get a title on it, so that needs to be deleted. That needs to be deleted. And this needs to be deleted. It just needs to be the same image. Okay, it's not the cover or the title page. This is the conclusion page. So on this, it's your way to wrap up all of the information you've learned in an encouraging and inviting way. Kind of like you were a salesman trying to get people to come to your state, where you're trying to be persuasive enough to just say that your state is the best ever and people should come there, right? But we're not going to use those fluffy fake words like, it's the best place ever, the best in the whole world, right? We're not going to do that. We're going to use our good language skills and persuasive writing skills to really get people to want to come to this state. So I have my image already, and if I'm looking at my picture, I keep moving my mouse in this area because I think that's where I want to do my writing, is up here in the sky again. It might just be a big text box over here on the right. So let me just insert a text box. And based on your picture, you're going to decide where to put this information. But it does need to be a pretty good sized text box. Mine is probably just going to be over here on the side. And I can fill the background of that with gray so that it just like, maybe I just put it up right in the corner, right? And it just kind of blocks out that sky. You don't have to fill the backdrop if you don't like that. You could go to transparent and just write right over the sky, okay? Whatever you would like to do is fine. I'm going to try and change that color automatically right now. Maybe I'll try to match the roof color. It's a little more orange, than it is red. How about that color? That's pretty close. Make it bold. It's a little darker. Do you know how to customize the color? You can go into customizing the color, and you can change it to kind of be whatever color you want. You can play around with that. So I'm going to leave mine as this. But this is where you get to use 3, 4, or 5 sentences to do one last final plug-in for your state. So it needs to be a conclusion, though. So it needs to use some of those concluding words that we've learned in class, phrases such as you can see, in conclusion, it is evident that taking a trip to Maine would be incredible, right? I know the word incredible could be seen as fluff, but the words before it made it a pretty strong statement. So be thinking before you just start typing and make sure your sentences are what you want them to say. For this particular example, and having gone to Maine, I do really love it. If you've never been to your state, maybe you can invite the reader who's reading your book to go on a trip with you, like just be clever and creative. So I'm going to start this one by saying, as you can see, remember that gets a comma after. As you can see, the state of Maine is truly a remarkable place in the United States. From its Atlantic coastlines, that's like on the coast, from its Atlantic coastlines and towering lighthouses to the friendliness of those who live there. So, from its Atlantic coastlines and towering lighthouses to the friendliness of those who live there, comma, this state outshines the rest. Or I could say, this state is somewhere everyone should visit. So let's see how many sentences I have so far. 1. As you can see, the state of Maine is truly a remarkable place in the United States. From its Atlantic coastlines and towering lighthouses to the friendliness of those who live there, this state is somewhere everyone should visit. Right? Hopefully, I'm just going to say it like this. Hopefully, learning about Maine from A to Z. Let's see, what else can I say? Hopefully, learning about Maine from A to Z. Hopefully, maybe I don't need to comma there. Hopefully, learning about Maine from A to Z. Actually, I might say this. Hopefully, after learning about Maine from A to Z, you'll want to pack your bags and, I don't know, get there quickly or go see the sights, go experience it for yourself. That might be what I like best. So I don't like that I can't see it super well. That means it might not be the best color for me to use. So that's when I then start to play with, okay, well, what about white? White looks pretty good. You can see white pretty well. What about black in this situation? That's pretty decent also. I think because of the lighthouse, because of the lighthouse, I might do it white just to kind of tie that in a little bit more. And maybe I'll enter that. Well, see, that the problem is when I move it down in here into the ocean, those waves right there, you can't see it very well. So I'll just leave it up here. Here's what mine says. As you can see, the state of Maine is truly a remarkable place in the United States. From its Atlantic coastlines and towering lighthouses to the friendliness of those who live there, this state is somewhere everyone should visit. Hopefully, after learning about Maine from A to Z, you'll want to pack your bags and go experience it for yourself. Let's just count how many sentences that is. 1, 2, 3. But this second sentence is pretty long and detailed. So I would say that is enough information. And all I did was 3 sentences. If you do shorter sentences that don't have these adjectives and adverbs necessarily or descriptive traits, then you really will need more like 5 sentences. You could also change the font. You could, maybe I don't like it just being super plain like that, right? I could try to switch the font and see if that is, I actually like the way that looks. But I am, no, not 240, just 24. Oh, it doesn't like it being 24. It did not like how big that was. How about 18? I like that pretty good, but look what's happening to that last line, right? So maybe I can move this up a little bit. Maybe I don't need it quite so big as 18. Maybe I'll try 17. So again, I'm just playing with the formatting of this. Oh, interesting. So now that it's there, I wonder if I could make it 17. Oh, 18. Is that what it was before? I can't remember. There we go. As you can see, the state of Maine is truly a remarkable place in the United States. From its Atlantic coastlines, I actually think coastlines shouldn't be capitalized. There we go. From its Atlantic coastlines and towering lighthouses to the friendliness of those who live there, the state is somewhere everyone should visit. Hopefully, after learning about Maine from A to Z, you want to pack your bags and go experience it for yourself. There we go. So that would be my conclusion. If I want to play around with, does it look better if I bring it down here? Does it look better if I bring it across the bottom and cover up these rocks right here? See, maybe I like it better there than I like it in the sky. I think I might. I think I like it better there. So that was just me trying to play with the formatting, and I hope you're spending time doing that, because that is probably the most important thing when you're doing a project like this, is to make it be the most readable, I guess that would be legible, and make sense, and not covering things up. So I am going to leave mine at the bottom right there. You don't want to put it at the bottom. Like, let me give you an example. You don't want to bring it clear down there and have some of it off of the page. You do need to make sure that your text stays on that page, and all of it, like even that lowercase y down here, I have to make sure that all of it's on there. So I'm also checking to make sure, okay, does it look centered on left and right? It does. Do I want to center the text within the box? I do. I think that looks even nicer. So that is how my conclusion will be. It needs to be 3, 4, or 5 sentences. Make sure you've spelled things correctly, you have good word phrases and details, and that it's inviting. So again, this last sentence is probably the best part of it, is that it's encouraging those who are reading your book to travel there. So hopefully after learning about Maine from A to Z, so you want to point out that your book helped them learn about it. So you can even use this phrase if you want. Hopefully after learning about blank from A to Z, you can put your own state in there. You'll want to pack your bags and go experience it for yourself. I actually think that's pretty exciting. I would put an exclamation point there. Please be professional and don't do things like this. Oh, it's so exciting. That is actually unprofessional, and it looks like you're not as confident. So if you would just use one, it's definitely better. So good luck to you on making your conclusion. If you accidentally make a mistake, remember you can always edit, undo. You can change things around, change the font color, all of it. But the image that you use on your cover page should be duplicated onto the back page. So when I look at your book over here at the top and bottom, it is the same picture. But you can see that it's, this is the cover and this is the conclusion. Have a great time wrapping your state report book up. I'm proud of you for all the work that you've put into this. And now you get to finish it off with a strong conclusion page. Good luck to you. Be creative and have a great time with it.